Good afternoon, and welcome to our workshop. I'm Dana Smith. I am a history teacher at Carnegie Middle School, where I've been for almost 30 years, and I've been the track and wrestling coach there for a little over 20 years. I also serve as the middle school athletic director for our school district. When I got that job, the first thing I did was asked if we could partner with Positive Coaching Alliance, and we made that move to train all of our coaches in double goal coaching. So we have people in our organization that are part of what I'm doing on these presentations with Positive Coaching Alliance. So I truly believe in the power of positive coaching. So much so that I just finished up my master's degree in education with an emphasis in positive coaching from the University of Missouri. So I'm bought into all of this. I know the research behind it. I know why it is so powerful and why you can use it every day with your kids to be a more powerful coach. So let's move into the elm tree of mastery. And let's start off by listening to an interview with Carol Dweck, who's of our positive mindset principles. And what I want you to look for while we're listening to this is, what is kind of the most important thing that she's giving to us as coaches that we need to understand when working with our athletes? Come on, Carol. Oh. You just played.
We did a study of college athletes looking at whether they believed their coaches valued effort and practice or natural talent and outcomes. The more they believed their coaches valued effort and practice, the better they did that year and the more they improved. It is crucial for coaches to send that message. I value practice, I value effort, I value setting your goals in terms of practice and effort. Many coaches may think it's obvious. Effort and practice lead to greater skills and a winning record. But if they don't communicate that value to players, those players may be working in a completely different framework.
So what do we feel is the most important thing that she said as far as how we can relate to our kids and work with them as athletes? What's the most powerful advice that she gave us there? What do you think, Ruben?
I think that the fact that if players, just the fact that they understand that their coach values practice and effort, that leads to better performance, better and improvement learning.
Right, absolutely. And I think the first part you said there is super important to go along with that they have to understand that you value that. You can value it all you want, but if we don't communicate that to our athletes, we could be on a different page and interpreting things in a different way if we're not understanding what we value in the same way. That's super important to take from what she also said. So with 20 years of research behind it, PCA has developed this idea of the elm tree of mastery, where we focus on peak performance over winning. Not that we don't care about winning, we do, but we know that peak performance gets us to winning on the scoreboard, so to speak. So let's take a look at the different definitions, what a scoreboard definition of success is and what a mastery definition of success is. So scoreboard definition, we're looking at results. What's the number on the scoreboard at the end of the game? Did we win or did we lose? What was the result in the win-loss column? Mastery definition, we focus on what was our effort in that competition. Because we can have great effort, win or lose. We can have bad effort, win or lose. But that's a better way to measure how we perform on the field if we're focused on mastery, as we should be. Scoreboard definition, we're comparing ourselves with other people, with other teams. Am I better than you or am I worse than you? Or are we even? It's a comparison to other people. Where in a mastery definition, we're looking at our own learning and our own commitment to what we're doing as far as being an athlete and improving as we move along. Scoreboard definition, it's a horrible part to me that mistakes are not okay. Mistakes aren't okay in that definition because they're obstacles to us winning. We're trying to win, and if we make mistakes, we have a lesser chance of winning, so they're not okay. In a mastery definition, mistakes are okay, and that's where we get to teach from and improve upon and learning from those mistakes, and how do we handle those mistakes so we can keep performing and keep our effort up. All right, So as we look at a mastery focus in athletes, we know that when an athlete's at peak performance, that fear is erased because we're not afraid of making mistakes in that situation. If we're afraid of making mistakes, we're not going to take risks. We're not going to stretch ourselves as an athlete and try new things because we're afraid that we're not competent in them, that we'll make mistakes. So we'll never reach the peak that we want to. So under this mastery climate, we bring anxiety down, our self-confidence goes up. And we know when that happens, that's when we start reaching peak performance. It's under that high self-confidence and that low anxiety. So here's the question. How do we get our athletes to believe that they can get better? So take a second and share out with each other, and then we'll get some responses from you of what some ways we think that we can convince our athletes that they can get better. Anybody want to share out on that?
I think the easiest way to do it is just show them where they've gotten better. I coach lacrosse, and there's a lot of kids that come out to the team and they can't even hold a stick or catch a ball. It's not like another sport where they can just kick a ball and that counts as soccer. Right. So it's really cool for me to be able to see that they couldn't do something 3 days ago that they can actually do now. So pointing those out along the way.
Absolutely. Ruben, add to that?
Yeah, I like Kelly's a lot. That's probably my first choice. A second choice might be to share with them examples or stories, anecdotes of people that weren't good at something at one point in time and did indeed become good at it. We've all heard the story about Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school basketball team.
Right.
He got better.
A little bit, huh? Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, here are some things that we can do if we look at under PCA's double goal coach model and that idea of mastery. One, tell them that you value effort. We always, like in the beginning of our track season, we'll have a first meet and everybody's worried that, oh, I'll never beat that kid. They're faster than me. They can jump higher. So we post signs all over the locker room that says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And we're trying to send the message that we can catch those people that are faster than you. Then again, they can catch you too if you're not going to work hard. Talent alone isn't going to get this done. So just let them know that that's what you value. Be a noticer of effort in practice and in games. Notice it, verbalize that you're noticing it, and keep communicating with your team that you notice that effort is out there. And we can use charting to do that. We'll talk about some other tools a little bit later that we can use to do that, and some things that I use myself. And then attribute success to effort. Kelly, you want to read the quote that's on the screen in yellow there?
Sure. It says, that was a great play. You've really been working hard in practice and it shows.
Right. Not that was a great play. You're obviously really talented or you're really good at this. It attributes success to practice and hard work. Again, reinforcing that we value effort and we attribute our success to that effort and that practice. Okay, so when it goes into a mastery focus, we give our athletes a feeling of control. There are some things that when you're looking at the scoreboard that you can't control. You can't control the score. You can't control your opponents, the officials, the field conditions, the weather. We can't control that. So I like to call it control the controllable. We can control our effort. We can control what we're learning in that situation. We can control how we bounce back and react to mistakes. In other words, we control the elm tree. We control what that tree does in our performance as we move along. And again, our confidence goes up. Our anxiety goes down. We're building life skills of resiliency and grit as we're working that way, pushing through things, keeping our effort up, bouncing back from mistakes. So in all, mastery leads to peak performance, which is what we're trying to get to as coaches. We want our athletes to perform at the best level that they possibly can. Mastery focus is the way for us to get there. And then when we do that, our athletes will work harder, they'll stick to it longer, again, building those life skills of resiliency and grit. So let's take a look at another scenario here and let you talk about it, and then we'll share some ideas that you came up with, and I'll share some ideas of what I do in my own practice as a coach. Your team tends to play tentatively and lets the opponent drive the action. What can you do to improve that situation? So talk about it a little bit with a partner, and then we'll have you share out some ideas that you might have. Okay, TikTok, time goes by. Kelly, you want to share what you and your partner came up with, some ideas?
Yeah, I think, again, just kind of reiterate to them that, we've got to keep playing hard. Don't worry about the other team. Let's practice some of the skills we've been working on in practice. I would just probably focus them more on let's pass the ball like we did yesterday. Let's get 3 passes, 3 touches before we head it down the field, and just focus them on something other than the goal.
Right. They can control trying to get more touches. They can control hustling the ball. They can't necessarily totally control whether they can get the ball in the net or not, because you have a goalie to deal with and officials to deal with. So they can control that effort. Ruben, did you want to add to that?
No, same thing. Whatever I can do to get their mind off the goal and points and the actual outcome of the contest, and more focused on the process. And like Kelly and you have both said, the things they can control.
Right. Absolutely. Very good. So we want to keep a focus on effort as the key to that performance. Be assertive, be aggressive in our play, and don't worry about making mistakes. Let's try to make things happen. If we make mistakes, we bounce back from that and we carry on. But your book has some great tools that you can use in there, and I'll share some tools that I use with my wrestling team also. One, notice effort. We wanted to have a concrete way for the kids to know that we notice when they try new things, when they extend themselves in that effort. So we came up with a bingo game. We set up bingo cards with moves that we use in our program. We sit at the side of the mat and we circle them during dual meets when they try that move and they score a point on it. Not that we're focusing on the score, but we want to encourage them to keep trying it until they can score with that move. Keep making that effort. So then our next practice, we give them their little slip back. They know that we were watching. They get to stamp those spots on their bingo card, and it encourages to try to fill it in and start trying some things they might not normally try in a match. So give that effort. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. It's not going to cost you anything. And you may just be successful and get that little bingo stamp on there. Also, the idea of rewarding effort. Kind of 2 things that I think are important here. One, notice effort. I stole this idea from the book, The Golden Spike Award. I went on Amazon and ordered some old spikes and got the rust off of them and painted them gold. And it's not a regular thing that we do. So it doesn't turn into just like we're giving an award because it's Friday and we have to give it. We've given 3 this year, and it's totally the kids that are at practice every day, work hard every day. Nobody notices. They never complain. They never make excuses, but they can kind of fall through the cracks on getting noticed for their effort. So we talk about them and give them that golden spike to take home. And no one's tried to sell it as real gold yet on eBay. So that's but it's really important, too, that we focus on that effort and reward it with some praise, at least, when kids aren't successful on the scoreboard. I have an athlete for me right now who he's right on that brink of being an upper level wrestler, but it's going to take that. He works really super hard. Last 2 tournaments, he's lost the 1 match that he needed to win to qualify for the Tournament of Champions. And the second time, he was just devastated. He was crying. Talk to him, console him. And the best thing that I did with him is say, I understand you're getting discouraged. Acknowledge that discouragement that they're feeling, because it's there. You can't just blow it off. But also tell them that you're seeing that they're getting better, and you know they're getting better because of how hard they're working in practice, and we can see it on the mat when they're in competition. Just keep working hard, and you're going to get over that last obstacle. I think that's really critical when you have a frustrated athlete, is to make sure they know that you understand their frustration and really praise that effort that they're putting into it, so they will get to that next level. Mistake rituals. We use brush it off because, as you said, we don't have a lot of clothing on out there or anything. So we just use brush it off, and it's real simple. And I think mistake rituals are excellent. You'll see a Major League Baseball player talk about that in just a few minutes. But I also think we can add to that, because the mistake ritual puts the mistake in the past, lets it go, so to speak. But I think we also need to look at how do we get them refocused on the next play, the most important one, right? The next one. So we use what we call task cues. Real simple little cues to get them focused on what the next thing is. Wrestling moves fast, so it's got to be a quick thing. And it's real simple. We have 3 of them. When we're on our feet in neutral, it's set up, takedown. Just to remind them what we're trying to do. It's not a move. It's not instruction. Just a reminder of what we're doing next. If we're down, we call it tennis ball now, because we have a drill called the tennis ball drill. It's for hand control, so we just shout that out to remind them. We're on top, it's get an ankle, get a wrist. So it's just a way to, now that mistake's in the past, or even if there wasn't a mistake, it's a little task reminder to keep them focused on what their effort needs to be in that situation. So task cues are great little things to use to get people focused, and you can adapt them to any sport really easily. They're very, very powerful.
Was that cue tennis ball what? There was a 3rd word that I did.
We call it tennis ball now, but all it's about is getting hand
Now.
control, because we have a drill that we do that's called the tennis ball drill in practice. So it's just a reminder of what we're trying to focus on. And we just put that in last week. Before it was, how are we getting to our feet was the cue. Now we changed
Tennis
it
ball now.
Yeah.
NOW. And then are you going to give us the third cue?
3 cues.
That was it.
Set up and takedown was one. Tennis ball was the other. And then get an ankle or a wrist was the third.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
we have one for every position that we're starting on the whistle. So let's hear a little bit more about mistake rituals from Major League Baseball player, one of our PCA National Advisory Board members, Curtis Granderson. I can get him on here. We got him. Come on, Curtis. My computer's being slow today. All right, maybe we're not going to hear from Curtis.
Some of the videos take a little longer to queue up than others.
Things that we have to do is try to find a way to forget that failure and also forget some of those highs as well. We got to be able to forget because the next pitch is coming, the next game is coming. One of the coolest things I ever had, one of my college coaches grabbed a little toy toilet, and as we were going around, when he had something bad, he just flushed it. Flush it out of there, get ready for the next thing, whether it's an error, whether it's a pitch, whether it's a game. We just flush it away because once it's happened, it's done with. Now we get ready for the next thing.
And I totally remember watching his team when they were playing college baseball and seeing that little toilet in the dugout and kind of going, what is the deal with that thing? And they explained it, and I thought, wow, that's just brilliant. That's a great way in baseball to get past it for sure. So now we've talked about how we fill our athletes' emotional tanks. We've talked about how to get them focused on effort and learning and getting past mistakes. So we really have them in a place where we can really talk about how do we have integrity? How do we honor the game, which is going to be our third principle that we're going to talk about today.
All right. Well done.
Thank you.
You seem like you've been doing this forever. How did you feel doing the principle versus the intro?
I like that principle a lot. I think it really gets to the heart of when we're in action with our kids, when we're in practice and we're in game situations. So it's kind of one of my favorite things. I love that. I kind of call it the art of coaching. It's how are you reacting in the moment? How are you keeping kids focused and not getting disappointed or getting too overconfident? And I love that part of coaching for sure.
Good. I like it. All right. Well, Ruben, I'd love to hear some of your feedback for Dana.
Yeah, I think I can be pretty brief. Yep. I thought it was very strong, Dana. I thought your pacing was excellent. I think you moved through. I think slides and bullet points can unnecessarily slow us down sometimes, and you did not let that happen. You kept things moving while you engaged us and interacted with us and got us talking to each other, got us into pairs. So I thought it was, again, your not only your understanding of the content, but your ability to articulate it clearly is just top notch, Dana, top notch. I thought what you did with the intro, was just very good. Just, I know you did an intro last time and we changed it up a little this time. I thought it was good. Ideas, suggestions. Early on, you said doing these presentations, and I'm trying to get everybody to eliminate the word presentation from the vocabulary. So I would just replace it with workshop.
Yeah, I agree. I know you've said that before in some of the videos. I think it's critical because it sounds more like we're working together. I think we're gonna keep reminding you because Kelly, we're reminding each other all the time. Instead of saying presentation, let's use the word workshop. Instead of saying presenter, let's use the word trainer. Or Kelly likes calling it, sometimes says coach. We're coaching coaches. Yeah. Instead of audience, like at the movies, watching the movie, participants are participants. So anyway, that's a little thing. We'll keep reminding you if we pick up on it. Okay. The one other thing I wanted to ask about, Kelly, I have in my notes. Did I say I was going to be brief, Kelly?
That's okay. I'll charge you later.
I have in my notes from last time that Kelly gave the feedback encouragement for Dana to be more bring more creativity, and so I'm I'm just wondering about that. As interactive as it was, because I thought we got a lot of chances to interact. you know, what's the next level of creativity in terms of an actual game, an actual activity, and getting one of the participants up in front of the group and mocking, you know, what's that next level I have down as a question mark. So, so congratulations, Dana, on a wonderful demo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with all the things that Ruben said. I think I really like that we had four personal experiences right in a row. So we know, you know, between the bingo game, the golden spike, we use brush it off, and then you said the task cues, and you gave us examples. I mean, that's like boom, boom, and they were quick, but it was like, wow, I know that he really uses this stuff, and that was great. Just to give you a little PCA lingo, we use the word trigger words instead of task cues. Okay. In the Double Goal Coach 2 cultural practices and games workshop, we call them trigger words. Okay. It's similar. You know, you set up, take down, tennis ball, you know, things like that. Maybe ask us if we have any trigger words for our teams that we use, okay. Just so that, or task cues, so that we can sort of connect it to what you're saying. Anytime you bring up something personal that you use, it's a great way to connect to, okay, this is what I use in my sport of wrestling. What do you use in your sport of volleyball or lacrosse? Or, you know, I give the Golden Spike Award. What awards do you give out on your team? We use brush it off. What do you use on your team? Everybody stand up on your feet. Show me your mistake ritual that you would use for your team. And if you don't have one, make one up and practice it right now on the count of 3. So I think that's what Ruben's talking about being more creative. Right. Is just not making it all I mean, you're a teacher, you understand learning styles, not making it all discussion and verbal. Right. Making it active, kinesthetic. What can you do to get them up? Role playing, laughing, joking, doing something silly. You know, years ago, I forgot about this until you actually just said it. Years ago, I did a workshop for U.S. lacrosse, and I had 2 participants get up and try to do a tree pose in yoga. And the one person, I told the coach, I just want you to focus on the outcome. Like, are they doing it correctly? And they were constantly going, come on, no, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Keep going, keep trying. And the other person, the other coach, I said, I want you to focus on their effort and what they're doing. So they were saying, okay, your leg looks good, but your arms are a little stiff, or maybe you need to focus on something, you know, a fixation point. And they were just coaching them through the process to do a tree pose. And, you know, the one person got it so much quicker than the other. So again, it's just kind of an activity to get them thinking about something that they do. It also is a good way to bring in the Carol Dweck video. Because I think sometimes we watch that video and we say, what stood out to you? What was important? Which is what you did, which is fine. But I've started using the video as, she also brought up the point of effort goals. Are you setting goals in terms of effort? I want everybody to turn to a partner, and I want you to tell them 3 effort goals that you can give your players based on effort, you know, something like that, to make the video kind of a springboard for an activity, right, rather than just watch and respond. Right. So, you know, just challenging yourself. We all know that people will change their behavior more by doing. They're going to learn this stuff by doing it. Right. And we want them to do it out on the field or the court. But if they can do some of it in the workshop, they'll feel more comfortable bringing it out there. Right. The other thing I often use now after this principle too, is we're talking about mistakes. And I encourage them, this is, you know, it's the second principle in the workshop. It's right in the middle. And I tell them, you know, we're giving you a lot of new tools and a lot of new strategies and a lot of new things to use on your field, or, you know, on your, with your team. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try something and then say, well, that didn't work out very well, you know, and try it again and try it again. Sometimes coaches are the most fixed mindset of anybody. We're trying to create growth mindset in our players, yet we're afraid to make mistakes. So, and I've told them before, like I've, excuse me, I've tried drills before. And as soon as the drill was over, I was like, okay, well, that didn't work anything like I thought. Let's go back to this way, you know? And I think the kids appreciate that coaches make mistakes too. So
I was going to mention, I think that's really important to give to them too, is like, if you make a mistake, admit it to your team. Yeah. Talk about how you're correcting it as a coach to show that you're always learning. You're always bouncing back from mistakes. If you we get better together that way. I think that's a critical part of that for sure.
And it is. And I think this is the principle to mention that in.
Yeah.
You know, and also not being afraid. Sometimes, you know, I send emails to the parents after games just to kind of give like some stats and some shout outs. But I've also said, you know, I realized that I made a mistake. I didn't realize there was only 1 minute left in the game, and I had them jump back into a zone defense where we really should have played man-to-man. You know, parents appreciate that. Whereas a coach, you can mention, you know, I've made a mistake. I've learned from it. You know, we're going to move ahead. So it's just a good opportunity to do it. So that would be my biggest suggestion, Dana. I think I'm thrilled with everything else. I'm excited to see you get out there in front of coaches And I think the more trainers that you see, and the more, we have tons of resources that we have available to you. We have videos of trainers doing activities at workshops. Just putting some of that in there is going to make your workshop that much better. Yeah. And it'll keep the participants excited and energized, and when they need it.
I think one of the big things that you do in the workshops I've watched years is getting people up. Coaches don't like to sit around. And I think it's when you're talking about 90 minutes of sitting around, that's a lot of time, and get them up as much as possible walking around and mix the crowd up and talk.
Sure.
I know we've kind of had the same wrestling coach crew for this whole time we've been doing the double goal coach training. And we're getting more out of it every time because we're more comfortable sharing what we do and helping each other. And one of the young coaches that just took over the team himself this year, and he was an assistant, and he kept going, I'm totally stealing that. I'm totally stealing that. And everyone's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Coach, you're welcome anytime to come into my room and watch one of our practices and see what we do.
Yeah.
Being open in that sharing and get them up and mixing, I think they realize how valuable that can be too, that it's not, we don't go into our own little cocoon. We have a lot to learn ourselves from each other, and we need to be able to share to do that. I think mixing people up, because they're usually from, I would assume, from kind of the same organization and coaching against each other, with soccer clubs and Little League and that kind of stuff. So
and many times when you get the evaluation at the end of a workshop and it says most valuable part of the workshop, and I love it when they write talking to other coaches. Right. Sometimes I used to laugh like, wow, I just spent 2 hours giving you my best, and the best part of the workshop was talking to other people. But there's just not that many opportunities, especially in the high school level. There's not very many opportunities for the basketball coach to spend an hour and a half learning from the wrestling coach or the swim coaches. And it's a great opportunity to honor their expertise as well. Because I always say, like, I only know so much about the sports that I've played. I would love to learn about your sports, and this is the place to do it. So
that was really one of the great things in our program. We'd have discussion boards of course. There were people from business also that were coaches in their business place. Yeah. And it was really interesting to hear their ideas and how they were interacting with people. So any of that interaction, I think, is really, really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Dana, I would like to wish you congratulations. I'm going to consider you officially an associate trainer, and we're going to try to get you signed up and head out to a live workshop. Okay. So well done. I'm going to send you, I think I've already been sending you the workshops in your area, but we're going to see if we can get you hooked up to co-facilitate at one of them. So you would do half and the trainer would do half. Not that you couldn't handle the whole thing, but I think for the first time out, it's really good to be able to see the other trainer too. It's when you're observing another trainer, it's different than when you're observing another trainer going, I'm going to be doing this. So I just think that's really valuable. And then we get feedback from that trainer and we decide what the next step would be. Sometimes it's, I think you should co-facilitate again. And sometimes it's, I think he's ready to go out and do it. So those are the next steps. Do you have any questions for me about that process?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I will send you a follow-up email, and I'm going to loop in Sonia DeWitt, who's our trainer manager. She takes care of entering you in the system and all the logistical stuff. All right. So I'll connect you with her probably within the next half hour or so by email.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right.
Kelly, can you stay on with me for just a moment?
Sure. No problem.
Dana, thank you. Congratulations.